what's wrong with his people? I said, God, what's wrong with your people? They're not our people. We are pastors, but what's wrong with your people? Why are the people of God is pulling away and saying that they don't want to be in no? It's just not here in Danville, but it's nationally that no one really want to go see what God is talking about no more. And I asked God, because it really puzzled me, because I'm saying, if a God saved me, you know, because I told God, I said, God, if you take someone like me, I know you real. I know you're not fake. Because after all what I have done in my first 28 years of life, it was against you, and you still going to receive me. I know you real. So God received me just like I was. As I came to church, as I lift my hands and told him yes. And so I asked him, God, I said, God, what's the problem? What's going on with your people? You know, and I know we always quoting about in the last days that the people gonna, you know, it's gonna be a great falling away because men represent women, is gonna become lovers of themselves. And I know that that's true. But I asked God deeper. I said, God, really, what's really going on with the people? Why come they, you know, they backing up now, you know, and when tragedy hit, they run here. But when they think they can do it themselves, they doing their own thing. And then God took me back. He said, I'm going to take you back in your life. It's about 3-something this morning. He said, remember back your first 28 years of life, how you thought that you was big enough to do everything that you wanted to do, and you didn't think about me until you got 28 years old. I said, I understand that, God. I said, but today is really got me because this is the time that seemed like everybody would be in the house because so much tragedy and so much lack and so many people are dying at an early age or you know, seem like everybody would want to, you know, come see you and want to be with you and want to just, you know, worship you. And he said, son, he said, order never was established in the church. I said, huh? He said, my order was never established in the church. Now, watch this here. Now, in Champaign this morning, you know, they looked at me kind of funny when I told them this because we got a lot of people who have been saved for a long time. And what happened is that, you know, when you think you know what God is doing, and then when you hear some reality and hear the word, it really gets into you and it'll shake you up a little bit or shake you up a little bit. So I said, God, the Lord said that the church never was established with his order. And they just looked at, and so sister said, well, Pastor, explain that because I want to know. I said, let me share something with you. I said, what happened was we established order in the church. The church building. We know how to do everything in the church building. But listen, work what God said, work out. We'll do everything. We know how to protocol in the church building. We know how to usher. We know how to make folks sit down. We know how to, you know, we know how to do all this stuff. We put the I's on the T with the dot on the I, cross the T's. We do all the church work we can do. But when it comes to kingdom work, we don't know how to do it. And so they said, wow. I said, you don't even know who the church is. That's why you're looking at me funny. You see how y'all looking at me? Now, the church that God is talking about is me and you. He said, upon this rock, I'm going to build my church. He's talking about this temple. See, we never allow God to establish his order in our church. That's why when trouble comes, we easy to quit. We easy to walk away. We easy to say, I'm done. It's so easy for us to back up because when church, watch this here, when the word of God is not established in your church, you got your own rules. Uh-oh. And I had to tell the church this morning, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. I don't have a Mother's Day sermon. I'm not a pastor that preaches religious, you know, on holidays. So the thing is, what we need to really find out, not for somebody else, but God, have you, listen, and you know the question, have you established your order? Or have I allowed you to establish your order in my church? Because, watch this here, I'm going to share something with you today, and I'm going to take you somewhere where a lot of us is jacked up. And you have to check yourself. You have to really go back and ask yourself the question, have you allowed God to establish, watch this here, establish his order in your church. Because when God checks you, you get mad and say, I'm gone. I never understood how people would leave God for what somebody else said in the church. Y'all ain't going to talk to me. Now watch this here. Now watch this here. If Brother David said something to me, now watch this here. When we was in the world, he can call me everything he wanted to call me. All I told him, throw him up is on. It's time to fight now. It's time to fight. But when I come to the world, because Brother David said something to me, I'm gone. I can't believe church folks act like that. You never allow God to establish his order in your church. Because if you did, the Bible says when your brother, he's weak now, he's saying what he's saying because he hurt on the inside. You need to find out why he's saying what he's saying so I can help him get up. We don't do that. What we do, we pour it on and pour it on. You right, he ain't got no business saying that to you. I can't believe he said that. He this and that. He this. Hey, he's human. And what we have done, we have jacked what God said. What happened is that we didn't establish order in the church because the one that was bringing the word, they didn't even have order in their own church. So that's why they was preaching garbage. Lady told me Wednesday, in Champaign, another pastor, she's a youth pastor, and she had me laughing for about 15 minutes. I couldn't even preach because she had me laughing. She was talking about, she said, Pastor, she said, man, she said, I'm going to tell you something. She said, you so real. She said, I'm going to work on some stuff because I got to get back here. I can't make no promise of joining your church, but I want to set up under this word so that I can get this because I ain't heard nobody preach like this in a long time. She said, you are real. She said, you know, we was high-fiving each other, hollering on Jesus and going to hell. I said, huh? She said, do you not know? We was laying here Friday night, Saturday night, buck rods and everything else. On Sunday, we was in the choir. We had one of the baddest choir, and we were hollering and screaming on Sunday, and we going to hell. I said, what are you trying to say? She said, Pastor, she said, you are right. Ain't no order nowhere. And then we want the world, now watch this here. We want the world to, watch this here, to humble themselves to God when we're talking about we walking with God and we want to humble ourselves to God. We want the world to come in God's house and do the right thing. We want to witness to the world. We want to tell the world how good God is, what God would do for you, and this, and that. And God said, you haven't allowed me to establish my order. Listen, in your church, how you going to tell somebody else how to operate? See, a lot of people don't want this on Sunday. They want you to preach to them, to make them, you see what I'm saying, run around the church. Ain't nothing wrong with running around the church when I'm filled with his word. I need some power, man. That's why we quit so much, because we don't have the power of God. We'll quit. Why? How can you be with somebody for 15 years and they make a mistake and you turn around and you walk out the door? You don't have the power of God on the inside of you. Told my wife, we be married for 19 years. I said, ain't nowhere in the world I'm going to leave you after I don't allow God to build me and build you. You crazy. And I ain't sleeping on the couch. We be mad, sleep in the same bed. It ain't the first time. Oh, y'all ain't talking. Why you get mad at God and walk away from God when God ain't did nothing to you? That's why the church is empty. I don't like her because she put something on Facebook that she's a Christian. And why you judging her? Y'all ain't going to talk to me now. We the most judgmental, ignorant folks that's around. From the pulpit to the back door. And we want somebody to sit in our church. God checked me at 3:30 this morning. D. Pastor A say, what's wrong? I said, nothing. I got up and I said, shoo. She said, what's wrong? God got me up to talk to me at 3:30. I said, what's going on? He said, my people. I said, because I asked God the question. I know God how. It ain't about how many members you have. It's about how many people being affected by the word of God. If the word of God is working in your life, you see. Let me give you the definition of establish. Establish means to grow. Somebody say to grow. Establish means when I allow God to install or program his word in my heart so it can get in my mind and manifest through my spirit. That's what I need to establish this thing, man. Order mean is when, listen, orders mean when God command me to do something, I take it and I put it in me and I allow it to work through me. I don't care what nobody say. You can say what you want. If God told me that he gonna do it, I don't care if you come tell me 100 times. He said it. I'm gonna believe what he said. That's why folks don't really get with me, because they don't understand me. It ain't for you to understand me. Here it is for 28 years. I lost in life. And then God take me for my last, 19 years that my life is so good now. You think I'm going to believe what you say or believe what he say? You cannot lay here and tell me that it's not a real God. I know it's a real God. I know it's a God. I know it's a God. I know he want to establish his kingdom in us, but we won't allow him to do it. Why? Because it'll cost us something. We have to cut some stuff off. We got to cut the lying spirit off. We got to cut the backbiting spirit off. We got to, talking about folks. We got to cut all that stuff off. We won't do that. And one thing is that God was showing me. He said, if you can't lift them up, don't even talk. I said, oh, Jesus. He said, what's happening now? My people that are called by my name, they will not humble themselves. That's why I ain't hearing nobody. I'm not even here. He ain't hearing nobody. Some people sitting around, I tell you, I don't need you to prophesy to me about no car. All I got to do is get my little butt up and go to work, and God will make provision for me to get a car. You don't need to prophesy. I don't need you. This ain't the season to prophesy for cars and houses and money. This is the season to let me know that God heard me. I need to know, did he hear me? I'm going through. My life is in shambles. I don't know which way I'm going to turn. We had a sister this morning. Her mind is so messed up from Wednesday, enjoying God, to Sunday. Looked like she ready to go jump off a bridge this morning. And I told the devil, I said, you is a liar. She ain't leaving out of here like that today. No. I mean, people want peace today. You can't get no peace because you haven't allowed him to establish himself in him. We have so many people want to be more than what God called them to be. We got too many chiefs and no Indian. That's why we can't lay here and build what God telling us to build. We got so many people want to play too many games. I told my wife, I quit today. I will quit today, because why? I would not play with God. God had done too much for me to lay here and play games with him. It's too many people playing freaking games with God. That's why don't nobody want to be saved. That's why nobody want to come to church. That's why everybody want to quit, because it's too many freaking games. You say you're walking with God. Stand up. Be a man. Be a woman. Walk with the Lord. And stop all this junk what you're playing. You're playing games, man. Our family are losing because we are playing games. Then we want to run to God. You want to run to God. You want to run to God when you have a need. Quit playing games. Too many games. Too many games. That's what we are doing. I quit. I told my wife, I'm not going to quit God. I'll go sit up under somebody else. I'll put a for sale sign out there tomorrow. It don't bother me. I quit. I sit up under somebody else's ministry before I keep on going in circles. Tired of the circles. People sit here in this town. My wife spoke something. She said, baby, it should only be 5 churches in this city. 1 Church of God in Christ. 1 Methodist. 1 denomination. Non-denomination. She said 5. And God spoke that to me years ago. I told her, I said, I'll close these doors if God tell me to close them. Y'all might be mad, but you ain't putting me in heaven. We got 7,500 black folks in this town. Only 2,500 of them go to church on Sunday. And you got an average of 20 people in each church. You might have 2 churches with about 150 members. One church got about 300, another one got 150. We run about 75 to 100 sometimes when they make their mind up to come. The thing is, it ain't about the members. But what about the other churches? They only got 10, 15, 20, 25. It's time out for the garbage and allow God to establish his church, his order in us, so somebody else can be delivered. It ain't about you. It's about that person person that's losing. It's about that sister out there on the corner that you laughing at, saying how she can be on the corner. What about your old dirty laundry? About that sister. Lady here, one sister stopped me and my wife. We were leaving the church. And I growed up with this young lady. And she saw me and my wife. And she stopped us. And my wife said, who is it? I told her who it was. And she said, Pastor Leo, she said, you just don't know. You were talked about in this community real well. She said, I just want to share this with you. She said, I appreciate you. You can't quit because we just see hope in you. And I told my wife, I gave her some money. And I said, now, get off this corner. Go. Don't do that. You shouldn't do that. You got children. What you going to think when your children see you and the people are talking about you? Go. She said, but people don't understand. It's a trap. It's a trap. That's why I work so hard on my girls. It's a trap. It's easy to get in a lifestyle that you can't get out of. Parents tell you something, quit fighting, kids. I'm telling y'all, me and my brother, I wish that I would have listened to some of the stuff that I did. Some of the stuff I wouldn't even have to go through. The thing is, you didn't listen because you think the parents don't know nothing. How you going to tell the parents something they had you? You don't understand. You got a daddy at home. Shut up and listen. We didn't have no daddy. I don't know who daddy was. Our grandpa was our daddy. And that's why I tell folks, listen, young kids, I'm telling you, man, you got your daddy at home. Listen to your daddy. He don't know everything, but listen. If it's wrong, take with just what he giving you. I tell my girls, they say, Daddy, I said, let me tell y'all something. I know all the tricks. I teach you all the tricks. I ain't going to try to hurt you. I'm trying to show you how to do it. It's hard to release your child when you think they want to date. Man, it breaks your heart. Somebody like your daughter, but I had to go back in time and say, I liked it, they mama. They daddy didn't like it. Oh, y'all ain't going to talk to me. See, you got to release that thing, but you got to know how to do it. But you don't challenge the daddy because he hanging on. You all he got. Y'all all right? Well, let's go to, now watch this, vision. Somebody say vision. Somebody said, that's why I can't make it, because you don't have a vision. God want to establish, what do he want to do, Pastor? He want to establish vision in your church. And he want to give you your vision and nobody else's vision. Somebody look at that neighbor and say, neighbor, you do not. Because you got to make sure they hear it now. Make sure they hear it now. Tell them again, say, you do not. Listen, determine what God say I'm supposed to have. So you can talk to me if you want to. It ain't going to make a difference. See, what we have done, we have allowed other folks to tell us what God said we're supposed to have. Quit listening to folks and get it for yourself. Do you have a vision from God? Because that's what he want to establish in your church. Vision. Somebody say vision. See, the only way you get vision, you got to have a spiritual encounter with God. Somebody say, I got to have a spiritual encounter with God. How do I have a spiritual encounter? I have a spiritual experience, and God will allow me to paint the picture on the canvas of my imagination. He'll give me something, and I'll begin to see myself doing it. It don't make no difference with nobody else. I'm actually seeing myself work this thing out, this vision he gave me. Because if he give me a vision that I can handle, that means that it wasn't for me. See, anytime you can handle a vision, God didn't give it to you. God give you stuff that he have to expose it. He have to perform it. He have to do it. Because, see, if you can do it yourself, you'll pat yourself on the back and act like you God. God want to give you something that you got to depend on him all the way through. I need a divine connect. Somebody say, I need a divine connect today. Go to Habakkuk 2 real fast. Go to Habakkuk. See, the thing is that this here is what Habakkuk. See, we always read about how God say Habakkuk, write the vision, all that stuff. I want to talk to you about Habakkuk Mormon. See, he was mourning. He all he did was complain. Mormon. He was just complaining all the time. God this, God that, God that. All he wanted to do was complain. God had to shut him down and tell him, now listen, man, set your butt down and listen to what I got to tell you. See, when you know that God, listen, have established vision in you, you won't keep on questioning God. You won't keep on telling God what you're going to do. You're going to do what God tells you to do. See, when you don't have vision, you always, watch this here, you always, every day, ask somebody that try to tell you something. Say, hey, what you going to do today? Well, you know what, I really ain't thought about what I'm going to do today, but I got to get, and they're talking circles. But if you talk to a person with vision, you know what they tell you? What you doing tomorrow? They already know what their tomorrow is. Girl, tomorrow I got to get up. I got to make sure I get these kids. First of all, tonight I'm going to get up. I got to get this food cooked for the family. After I get through cooking, I got to go in here and iron these kids' clothes, or I got to get them ready, make sure their homework and stuff done, this and that. And then my husband, he come over about this time. And then we'll sit down and we'll talk. He get his time, I get my time. Then we be in bed about 10:30, 11 o'clock. Everybody sleep. Then I get up. God will get me up about, about 6 o'clock. And he begin to talk to me. I begin to talk to him. And I'm do my devotion and this and this and that. At 7 o'clock, and they ramming on. And you look in there and you get jealous. Why? Because you don't have no vision. Y'all didn't get it. People with vision ain't got time because they know time is money. And money is time. So they don't mess with folks that ain't got no vision. Y'all ain't going to talk to me, man. And so what happened is that when you don't have vision, when God having to establish his vision in you, you just go off and do anything. That's why it's so easy for you to quit. When things ain't going right for you. You don't look at the situation and see if it happened on purpose. Everything with God it's a purpose behind it. So if something happened, don't get mad. Go research and say, God, what's up? You're showing me something. Show me what you're saying. Show me. And God will show you. You got to have some confidence, man, when you walk with God. You can't be no wimp walking with God. Because if you're a wimp, you'll quit every time you see somebody else quit. Here it is, somebody been walking for 20 years in church, and they say, I'm done. You know what you're going to do is going to cross your mind. Well, church must can't be that good then, because this person been in, how you know they weren't faking for 20 years? You got some folks in church, been in church for a long time, don't even know what God said. They just come to church out of just coming out, what you call that, a habit. Don't know none. God ain't picked their Bible up, but I'll tell you something about God. Y'all ain't going to talk to me. You got pastors come to the pulpit, don't even bring Bibles to the pulpit, and they lay here and tell you what God, I got it memorized, but you won't live it. What's the use of having to memorize if you don't use it? The vision, somebody say vision. See, God told us, he told us in Habakkuk, he said, Habakkuk was doing all this complaining for no reason. I don't know why Habakkuk complaining like he complaining. He just complaining. Why is Habakkuk complaining, y'all? Because, watch this. After he did all that complaining, chapter 2, he says, I will stand up on my watch and set him up on the tower and will watch to see what he will say unto me. He talking about God. And what shall answer, I shall answer when I am what? Reproved. What is he saying? He's saying, I'm going to sit up here. I ain't going to open my mouth up no more until God corrects me. Because I can't hear from God as long as I'm keep on, complaining about what ain't working. And what's happening is a lot of us is complaining about what ain't working in your life. What about what is working in your life? Why don't you give God some praise for what is working in your life? Got a brother in Champaign, got locked up when he was 17 years old. He locked up when he was 17 years old for murder. One of the sisters in Champaign married him. Now, prophecy came to me and told me to tell her. I told her. And everything God told me to tell her, it took place Pastor, about a month ago. And it was like, man, it did take. I said, but hold it. I said, you can't go nowhere, though. She said, huh? I said, you can't go nowhere. I said, God gave me a word for you. She said, what? I said, the Lord told me you got to stick here. He got to stick here. I said, you can't leave, man. You got to stay here. No matter what she do, you can't do nothing. Do you understand me? You can't do it. He looked at me and said, she looked at me and said, well, what about? I said, don't make no difference. God told me to tell him because he got his mind right. He was practicing Buddha. And he got other religion he was practicing. He did 20 years in the joint for murder. Now, the thing is this. He know it back and forth. But the power of God is so strong. His word is so strong. Watch this here. God had been working with him. When he went through his thing, he called me. He said, Pastor Leo, I need you to minister to me. I need you to talk to me. He wasn't even converted really all the way there. He was still talking about Buddha. I said, I ain't going to stop your religion, but I know my Jesus reign. I know Jesus, the blood will wash you if you allow it. After that went down, that brother texted me and said, I'm in, man. I'm all the way in. Whatever got to go down, go down. He said, man, I'm in. He said, yo, God, he said, I ain't never saw. He said, I was skeptical about you because all I ever known preachers was to be trying to talk you into giving you all their money. He said, man, he said, you really messed me up. I came to your job. He said, man, you real for real. He said, Pastor, you're real, man. He said, man, I got to get you in Chicago, man. I got to get you around some people. People need to hear this. This ain't real. He said, man, I can't. And then he asked a question Wednesday to see. Because, see, that religion won't leave him alone. But when God allowed, he asked the question, because we have open Bible study, like we do here. He asked him. And God gave Pastor A a word out of the Bible. Shook him so much. They stayed in church 35, 40 minutes after church talking about the answer. Oh, he's so excited now. He don't know what to do now. He's just ready to jump. 20 years in prison. He dropped Buddha, Uda, and everything else to the sound like Udu. And picked up Jesus. Don't tell me his word ain't so. He allowing God to establish order in his church. Are you hearing me? See, he told him. He sat down. Verse 3 says, and God spoke to him. And verse 2 said, and the Lord answered me and said, write the vision, Habakkuk. Make it plain up on tables. That he may run that what? Read it. See, you got to understand something. Why you don't have vision, and I know you don't have vision, is because you can't look within your church, within the vision that God gave you, because if you had it, you'd be running. You wouldn't be sitting around talking about. And then he told us this morning, he said, Pastor, I just want to let y'all know, I got blessed with another job, working first shift, 7 to 5, making more money. Brother bought his wife a new truck. Did 20 years now. Don't know you know how the system works. Getting ready to put his wife in a house over in Champaign where black folks ain't supposed to live. Yeah. He said, Pastor, you teach us how to do this. I said, y'all don't know. It don't make no difference if your house bigger than mine. I just want to know if God's word is working in you. You can ride better than me. It don't bother me. I just want to know if my Father's word is working. You can make more money. Don't bother me. I just want to know if his word is working. I'm not one of them pastors that want to be the big dog. No, I don't want to be the big dog. You can be the big dog. You can be the big dog. But just take care of the small dog. Just don't forget about me. See, that's the key. See, everybody want to be big dog. I don't want to be big dog. Just don't forget about the small dog. Every once in a while, throw him a bone. See, that's what you got to do. See, we want to be this. So you got to make it plain. Somebody said, make it plain. And you did. Watch this here. He said, for the vision is yet for an appointed what? Time. Quit arguing with folks about what God told you. When you got vision established, you don't have to argue. You understand me? You don't have to argue with folks. Whatever God told you that he going to do in your life, quit arguing with folks about what he ain't going to do. Let folks talk. Because you know what? All you got to do is keep producing. See you. Do you understand what I'm saying? You keep producing and let folks talk. And then at the end, you go bless them and tell them, now, open your mouth and let me put a couple $100 bills so you can chew on it. No, I'm just playing. But what you got? But do you understand what I'm saying? Keep producing. Don't worry about what folks say. I told him, I said, man, don't worry about what people say. You keep producing. As long as you producing, taking care of your family, let folks say. You always going to be bam to them. I'm always going to be a Leopold, whatever, the drug dealer. You can't change folks' mind. You can't change their mind for who God said you're supposed to be. You keep living, and the more they talk, God got to produce more. See, they're not talking about you. They're talking about God's power, that it won't exist. That's why I don't bother when folks talk about me. I said, keep on talking about God. Watch you keep performing. He's going to make you so mad that you're going to go jump off Lake Vermilion. Because the next move he do, you ain't going to be able to handle. See, when folks talk about you and you walking with God, they're not talking about you. They're talking about God. They saying God's power can't change you. So God said, I got to keep blessing this boy because he just keep on doing the right thing. You can't lay here and beat God given, as the old folks say. You trying to fight somebody, but saying what God told you. At a point in time, the vision coming. I say the vision coming. That's why I don't argue with folks. When people tell me, how y'all doing it? Because in 5.5 years deep, the Lord said, pay the building off. We didn't take the money and go blow it. We paid the building off. So that's why folks say, how they still standing? No mortgage. Bus out there paid for. Get ready to sell it this Sunday. Gave it to my father 2 years ago. And my mother-in-law said, well, what do you want me to do with the bus? I said, it's yours. She said, well, sell it. Deacon, one of the brothers came down and said, I want to buy it. I said, it's for sale. You can buy it. See, if I was crooked, I would have been telling her, give me that title because you don't need it. At the time she was vulnerable, she would have said, okay, you're right, I don't need it. But I wouldn't have gotten nothing out of it. I can't be no Indian giver. I'm looking for God to do something crazy. I said, I'm looking for God to do something crazy, man. Lord spoke to me. He said he's shifting you. Watch this here. He says a shift taking place in the kingdom of God. And watch this here. And he said he's going to move you. I'm not talking about move you down. I'm talking about he's going to shift you out of where you at so he can move you up. Some of y'all get ready to get moved up. Don't worry about the shift. The shift going to be kind of, little hard, trying to agitate it. You ain't going to want to come out that thing. But once you get to that place, he's going to take you up. And I ain't talking about the heaven. I'm talking about on earth, he's going to bless you. You ain't getting ready to die. Just hold on. He said for a point of time, but at the end of it, he's going to do what? Somebody say speak. Quit speaking for your vision. Let God do it. And it won't lie. Though it's tarry, mean you working until it come to pass. Somebody say wait for it. He never told you to quit. He said because it will surely what? Come. It's going to come. And what else he say he's going to do? And it was what? It won't do what? So that means it won't stop working. Proverbs 28. See, you got to understand. Let me give you this. I'm going to quit because this is what I quit on in Champagne. Proverbs 29:18. Listen to this. The poorest man in the world is not the one that don't have no money. Y'all didn't get that, did you? Because I don't have no money don't mean that I'm poor. That means I got a lack. Uh-oh. You over in all this white. You and mama and stuff. Yeah. Watch this here. The poorest man in the world is not the man that don't have no money. The poorest man in the world is the man that don't have a vision. Without a vision, the Bible say the people perish. But he said, happy is the man that abides by the law as God. Watch this here. He's going to be blessed. What's happening is that somebody told you because you ain't got a lot of money, you poor. I believed that for a long time. I had a lot of money and was still poor. Poor in my mind, poor in my spirit, poor in everything I was doing. Because guess what? I didn't grow. Growth, when it takes place in your life, that means, watch this here, you continue to grow. You just don't grow one time. So the thing is this. Now watch this here. Watch this here. Watch this here. A man without a vision, he's soon going to perish. That's one of the poorest men in the world. Not money. Because guess what, Edgar Davis? Without the vision, D&D construction when we were at ease. The vision spoke. What happened? Vision works like this. God will give it to you, and it all don't come to you at once. You've been working on this construction company for years. But every day, God give you something different how to advance your business to go farther and higher and higher and higher. He brings people in the company that you need to know because you have favor. Favor is when God raises up somebody with the power, with the power, with the ability, with the influence, and with the what? Resources to help you prosper. You don't know how to do basically construction work, all that construction work, build up new this and that, but he brings you into the company because you're blessed. He empower you to prosper. What do? He run you into the company of the people you need to know because favor in your life. He brings them people to work for you. When they work for you, now you can accept the job that you couldn't accept 3 years. You ain't going to talk to me. The thing is this. Now you got a job that you couldn't accept 3 years ago, but now God ran you into the people. 3 years ago you wasn't ready, but now I ain't. Y'all ain't going to talk to me. Watch this here. Watch this here. Watch this here. Same thing with you, brother Neil. D. God opened up doors for you. He giving you something. You couldn't ride Lincoln 5 years ago. You wouldn't act right. Would have been up somebody's pole. Oh, you ain't going to talk to me. But see, the thing is now, you ride Lincoln. You ride Trailblazer. When you want to take the whole family, you say, oh, y'all get in the back. When you just want to ride white, you say, get over there on the other side of the link. We're just going to ride by ourselves. See, that's how God operates. Years ago, you couldn't handle what he's doing now. The vision are speaking. Remember, my son back there on the camera. I had brothers in here, and he was They was hollering, I'm finna quit. They was hollering, you know, I'm first son, I'm second son, I'm third son. Remember that? I'm fourth son. They had him at the end. Bible don't lie. At the end, she'll be. He sat here, and about 2 years ago in that parking lot out there, he told me, he said, I don't want to live no more. Now, here a man that got a job making $75,000, $80,000 a year, but he's saying he don't want to live no more because of the simple fact life ain't where it should be in his life. And he said, I should be where I was way farther than where I am. And, you know, with me, when people come talking to me before I got, you know, wise as a pastor, I used to say, well, you want to die? Go and die then. You come and talk. I forgot people ain't strong as you are. That's why they come to talk to you. I had to hit this nugget. Fool, shut up and listen. So when I said, we're going to die, see my truck coming down the street. He just took off running. I said, boy, get over. I had to take off running after that boy. I said, hey, man, come here. He stopped. I said, you serious, ain't you? He said, yeah. That was 2 years ago. I said, that was 2 years ago. And then he'll begin. I didn't even know I was doing this, T. God allowed me to speak, watch this here, his vision in him. And he started receiving it. And to this day, as July the 10th of this year, yeah, July 12th, I'm 2 days early, ain't it? She hurried up and said 12. But July the 12th, listen, he going to marry his fiance. Watch this here. Watch this here. This brother have laid here, and she laid here and got him, you know, speaking into his life, and God speaking into her life. And he told her he want her to live in a nice place. So he got her in a nice place. He said, as soon as we tie the knot, we're going to buy the house. Are you hear what I'm saying? Listen what I'm saying. Listen what I'm saying. Now I'm trying to get y'all to understand something. Because see, you got to see. I tell my brother all the time. I say, hey, man. I said, look, you have vision. It's time for you to shift. They got a dog. They had a dog last night at our house. A steel gray pit bull. And I told my wife, I told the girl, and she was telling Pastor A how, you know, people were paying so much for, you know, for the sperm to connect the dog. I said, my brother bought a dog like that thing for about $2,000. I said, she ain't lying. I said, he had it shipped to him from California. And what was it, more than that? Or she said more than that. So I ain't going to bring it up then because she looked like she got that look on her. But, okay. But the thing is, and he did. Now, Pastor, what are you saying? I'm trying to get you to understand something. Is that I told him, I said, amazing. He just don't have a construction business, but he have a kennel of pit bulls. Just amazing if he went to a land that had about 4 or 5 acres where he can put big fence around and really do what he's supposed to do with these dogs. Look what he could do. See, Danville will limit you. Yeah, y'all didn't get that. You hang around 4, I'm finna go, I'm finna shout, I'm on my way out. But you will lay here and you allow people in Danville that ain't never been to Belgium. I talked you out of it. Now, y'all ain't gonna talk to me. I sat here with Pastor A. 19 years ago, as of this year, June the 10th. 1995, 94, we got together. 95, we got married. Here it is, 19 years later. If God wouldn't have touched her, and then she would have listened, Koji said, my girlfriend don't want you. I said, Koji, calm down with that stuff, girl. Koji wanted to fight me. Because they were best friends. I said, listen. I said, but look. And I told Pastor, I said, look what all God have done. At 19 years, some folks don't appreciate it, but I do. Oh, my God. I shout by myself. 19 years. And I told her, I said, because of you and what God installed in you, and you let him instill in you, I'm the man I am today. Years ago, I couldn't be faithful for 2 minutes. But now I'm faithful for 19 years. Oh, my God. Me and my brother, we talked about that thing. We said it's a generational curse on our family. It started with our great folk. And I told him, he said, man, how you doing? I said, you just got to stop and love the one you're with. Do you understand? I told him. I said, man, get your wife. Get your family. Man, you got a good family. You got a good wife. Love your wife, man. Take care of your family. So God, listen. You got some folks that love you. People don't understand, man. People don't understand this thing. I told T the same thing. T, told me her testimony. I couldn't believe it. I said, not this too good a shoo girl. But she told me her testimony. But God spoke to her. And she called me on the carpet at my job. She said, big bro, you told me this. Now, I don't care what you do. You better make something happen. Because you told me if I did this, you would make it happen. Boy, she brought tears in my eye. I went in the dealership and I told them, I said, y'all got to do something. Y'all got to do something today. I don't know what it is, but you're going to do something. They said, what's wrong with you? I said, I'll do something, man. Do something. I had got angry at myself because, see, when people depend on you, watch this here, when you told them something and you look within yourself, that's why my wife tells me, she said, just be quiet. She don't mean it in a mean way. She just said, hey, just think before you speak. Because people hold you for what you've been ready to say. My daughters, hear me, they hold me. Me and Dominique don't do nothing but argue. Because she holds me for what I say, and if I don't keep it, she bring me in. I be want to choke her, but she be right. She pulled me on the carpet, and my wife said, baby, stop, because you know you're wrong. I said, no, you teaming up with them. You teaming up. Pastor, what is this for? Let God establish his order in you, and watch what God is ready to do. Quit being a phony and start living this thing out. I'm ready to live this thing out. I told my wife, listen, hear me, let me share something with y'all. I'm serious. I told my wife, if don't nobody else come to church, I'll sell the building. You think I'm going to be worried about what folks say about me in this town, man? That he didn't make it in this town? I'm going to say, but I made it out with about $780,000. Get that U-Haul together, Pastor. Come on, let's roll. Ain't nobody going to be mad but them. But don't call me when you see me on TV. Tell me, will you come back to Danville and preach? No! You didn't want me when I was here. I ain't coming back then. Because God got something bigger and better for everybody sitting in here today. Don't let nobody kill your vision. I said, don't let nobody kill your vision. I'm telling y'all today, God woke me up. My wife thought something was wrong. I just had to get up this morning. And I figured it out about 7:30 what I got up for. He had to check me first. Because you know what? Don't let nobody worry you with their decision. People are trying to get you down with their decision. They try to make you stop. It ain't them, it's Satan. People will quit on you tomorrow. Let them quit on you tomorrow and let it be. Amen? Are y'all hearing me? If they quit on you tomorrow, tell them thank you. You just helped me out. Don't let nobody stop your victory. Amen? I don't care who it is. I said, don't let nobody stop your victory. If you ain't going to let nobody stop your victory, give God a praise and I'm done.